Alright guys, we are finally at the end of the course and it's time to actually deploy our project to a web server. So the final step is deploy these two projects that we have built we have built together in the course and deploy them on Netlify. We need to do that. We need two things, and we need to use two services. So the first service is bitbucket, which is a Git-based source code repository hosting. But if you prefer, you can also use GitHub. And then we need, of course, Netlify as a web hosting. That is a web hosting company that provides hosting for websites that have source code files stored in a version control system like Git. So the first step is to create the project's folder on our local computer and copy over all the files that we have for both projects. So simple Twitter clone, and a simple portfolio project. So I'll quickly do that. So I have another folder on VS Code, and in here I have two folders, one for the view file, which is empty, and the other one for the simple Twitter clone. And now let me copy just the code from the final project. So I will grab everything, excluding the design and the README file, and I will copy these and paste them just in here. Oops, I just copied only what I didn't want actually. So I want just this one. So I want the index.html file in the assets folder. Just press Ctrl C and then you go on the other folder and type Ctrl V, and you will see that you have everything you need in this new folder. So let me delete this design.pdf file, which I don't need, and I will do the same thing for this simple Twitter clone, which is this one. So let me grab the index file, the main.js file, and the style.css, and let me copy them in here. So I have everything I need, and so we are ready to deploy this one on the real web server and this one on a real web server. So people from outside will be able to visit your projects and view your projects. So the next step is actually fairly simple if you know how to work with Git. So the next step is to initialize the Git repository locally for both projects, and from the commands that I am going to show you, you need to have installed Git on your system. If you don't, I will leave a link in the video description so you can look at them. And let me just do that very quickly. So I can just collapse this one and I'm going to work in this folder. So for the first project, what I'm gonna do is just open it inside the integrated terminal, and you see that VS Code opened the project folder inside the terminal, and I can list all the files like that and see what we got in there. And to initialize a new Git repo, I can just type git init and the repo will be initialized. Then if we type git status, you will see all the files that needs to be added to this staging area, and we do that using git add dot. This command will add all the files in staging area, and if we check again, you will see that each file is marked in green, is highlighted in green, which means that they are ready to be committed, and we can commit these files typing git commit -m, and I will just add a simple commit message like initial commit full website, and this is done. And I will do the same thing for the simple Twitter project, and I will click with the right button of the mouse on the project folder, open it in integrated terminal, and VS Code will open this, and I can type git init, git add dot, git status to check the status of the files, and then git commit. You can just press the upper arrow and probably not, commit -m and say initial commit full website. Okay, and after that we are ready to move to the next step, which is actually register if you are not already registered with the external service, the first external service that we will use, which is bitbucket for me, but if you want you can also use GitHub. And so if you are not registered yet, you can just type, let me open a new incognito window so I can show you how bitbucket looks when you are not registered. So the first time that you visit this website, if you are not already there, you can get it free for basic usage, and you need to register an account with them. You can use Google account to register, or Microsoft or Apple, and then you will be redirected to your user dashboard, and in there you will be able to create your repository. Let me quickly create a new repo for this project, and the only thing that you need to do is just click on this plus button, create, and create the repository, and you name it the repository. We'll call it view folio, like that. I will keep this private for now, but I will open it when the video is public. And I don't need to include the git ignore file or anything else. I will just leave the description blank, but if you want you can add something to it. And I will select the language, which is JS, so it's JavaScript, and I can create this repository right now. I need also to add the project, which I forgot, but it's mandatory, so you need to add one, and I have some projects already created. If you don't, you need to create a project first. So I will select this free code camp project, and then I can move forward to the next step and create the repo. So once you create this repo, you will see that bitbucket gives you a bunch of instructions to follow in case you already have a local Git repository. And we do, so we can simply run these two commands and connect this remote repo with our local repository, and then we will be able to push the code on bitbucket. If you are using GitHub, you will be able to do pretty much the same thing. So let me move back to the view folio and type the first command, and then I will do the same for the other command. So git push -u origin and master, so like that. And once when it's done, we will be able to we are pushing right now all the code. You need to type the password first time that you log in. Once you type the password, you will be able to push the code, and the code will be pushed from your local computer to the remote web server. And if we refresh this page, we will be able to see our code right here. Okay, so behind the scene, I will do the same thing for the simple Twitter clone, and I will be right back in a second. Okay, I've done that also for the simple Twitter project that we have built together. And now the next step is actually to register and create a site on the web server. so using Netlify. I'll show you in a second how Netlify looks like when you are not already registered. So let me open a new incognito window and type Netlify. So Netlify, you will need to this. Let me accept that. Okay, so the first time that you visit Netlify, this is the home page, and for personal projects and hobby sites or experiments, you can use the free plan, which will allow you to host as many sites as you want, but I only have one team member, which is fine for me. And I also have enough bandwidth to carry on. So if you click on the sign up button, you will be redirected to the sign up page where you can select how you want to log in. So to register and then log in into your account, and you can use Bitbucket if you have an account, or you can use a GitHub. And after that, you will be redirected to your home page, so to your user dashboard. I already have that, so I'll show you that in a second. And here we have, so when you are registered, you will be redirected to your overview page where you can click on this new site from Git button, and you select it, and then you select where you have your website hosted on which platform for the source code version control. So if it's on GitHub, you select GitHub. If it's on Bitbucket, like in my case, I will select Bitbucket. But if you have your projects on GitLab, you can go forward and select GitLab. So I will pick the Bitbucket and then select the repo. So this is going to be the one that I want to deploy. So this continuous deployment works in a way that as soon as we push the changes to our Git remote repository, the Netlify web server will pick the update and deploy immediately on your hosting. And the first time that you use this service, if you don't have, of course, a custom domain name, you will be able to use their custom domains names, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So I will leave these settings as they are, so the defaults, because we don't have any building tool at the moment on the projects that we have built, because we use the CDN for every external library, so we don't really have anything to build. So we just deploy the site like that and click deploy, and when it finishes, you will be able to see your website using a link that they gives to you. So for now it's building, and now it's published. So your site is deployed, which means that they took the source code from your Bitbucket or GitHub repository, and then they deployed that on their web server. And after that, you will be able to visit this link and see your project. Let's see if it's working. So here we have our portfolio project hosted on Netlify. If we click on this link, you will be able to see your project. But however, there is one thing that we didn't tackle, which is the update of the Vue.js CDN, because we are using the Vue.js CDN for the for development instead of the CDN link for production. So we are using the development version. We will have to update this in a second. I will do that. So you will also see what happens when you make a change, you push this change to your GitHub or Bitbucket remote repository, and then you will see how the website will be updated immediately after you push your code. So let me quickly look for the new CDN link, and I'll be back in a second. And here we are. So I'm on the installation page for Vue.js. And this is, if you see here for production, they recommend linking to a specific version to avoid unexpected breakage for newer versions. And I can just copy this link here and paste it in here. So I will replace this link here. So I have a change to push to my GitHub account, to my bitbucket account, but I'll show you also what it looks like when we click on the Vue.js tab. So already detected Vue 2.6, 2.12. And somewhere we should be able to see that we are using the development versions. Yes, you are running Vue in development mode. So as soon as we update the code, we should get rid of this message. Let's see if it works. So we updated the code, and if we type git status, we are what we are going to see is that the index file has been modified and we need to push it. So git add a dot and git commit -m update cd Vue.js cdn production, and then we push the code. So the code is pushed, and when you go back to your account on Netlify, you will see that in a second all this code will be updated. So let's refresh the page and see if we get rid of the message. We also have a console log that we should have removed. But anyway, you don't see, you no longer see the message that Vue.js was in development mode because we get rid of the development version. And as you see here, we have the script tag that we just changed. We need to update this comment and get rid of the console logs, but it's fine for this tutorial. I don't mind. I will do the same thing for the other website, so this simple Twitter clone. So let me go back to the account overview. So the site, not the site overview, but the theme page. And let me click on new site from Git and select bitbucket. And the repo name is Twitter, if I'm not wrong, Twitter something, and that's the one. And I don't have any building tools, so I can just deploy the site as it is. And when I finish, you will be able to see our application online. So it's deploying our site. You see that this step is in progress, and when you finish, you will see this check mark, and you will be able to visit this page and see the application. And here we have the application ready to go. And we need to do the same thing also here because we are in development mode, as you see here. And let's update this also for the simple Twitter clone. And let's replace this line and say production version. We get rid of this part of the comment and everything is ready. So now what we can do is to open the folder in the terminal and say git status to check the status of this repo. And we can immediately commit and add the modified changes in files to the staging area with one command. So git commit -am to the message as a one-line message, and we will write updated or change it update change CDN link for Vue.js. Okay, and we push the code. And now what we should see is that even the simple Twitter clone now should have no more these you are running Vue in development mode, and in fact we just got rid of that. So that's it for this video. You have now successfully deployed both projects online, and if you want you can send this link to your friends and family so they can view your project, or if you want you can set up a custom domain and secure your site with HTTPS. That's out of the scope of this tutorial, but if you want you will find enough documentation on the Netlify website. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and like the video and enable notifications so you will be able to know when my new video is out and online. In the meantime, take care and see you later. Bye.